Friends, family, welcome to episode 2 of 5 Reasons Why You Should Support Black Education. If you haven't seen our first video, episode 1, pause this video and go back and watch it. I'll have the link in the description so you can go ahead and watch that and tune in, all right? And also, if you haven't subscribed to Chancellor Woodson Schools YouTube page, go ahead and do it and click that notification bell, all right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into episode 2. Right. So the very first reason we gave in episode 1 why you should support Black education, it was because our educational experience should begin with us. Now, the second reason why you should support Black education, this is very important to me as well, a very vital reason, is that Black children deserve to have an academic environment that is set or made for them to succeed as not only in knowledge, but also as creators, inventors, scientists, mathematicians, as ruler of nations, as thinkers. We deserve, our children deserve to have that academic successful environment. So success right now that we have set for the Black child is making the grade. Most times are not set for our children to succeed in the academic realm of scholarship. And when I say scholarship, after you get the grade, after you go to high school, when you're going into college, advancing your academic career, when you're going past that, what are we doing with our lives? What are we doing? Many times we are not creating inventions that support the Black community locally and globally, the advancement of Black or African people, right? But the environment right now, the Black child's environment or experience with schooling and learning is set to obey and comply. Think about that, the whole academic K through 12, now been how to conform. Whether it's dress code, hair, whether it's how you look, how you talk, how you act, okay? All right, we don't have the room, when our children aren't getting the room to really grow within themselves, self-confidence, self-determination, self-preservation, as a community, as a people. That's what I'm talking about. The environment is not set for our children to do that, right? But it is set for us to become good employees. It is set to keep the wheel rolling, the same wheel that has been oppressing our people systematically. And I'm not saying that we should look at things as a victim, but how can we conquer it? It starts with educating ourselves, building institutions for ourselves. But again, we don't do that often with the capabilities or the mindset that it can be done. When the Black child stands up, no, sit down. When the Black child tries to ask a question, if it's not the right question, right, we've been told to be quiet. Oh, you're moving too much, all right? If you got some creative minds in your classroom, it's like, no, you can't be jumpy, you can't sit down. No, that person got ADD, send that Black child to detention. You notice when a Black child gets in trouble, it's to kick them out. Discourage them, remove them. Is that not the same as when they get older as an adult? Remove them from society, remove them from the school, kick them out so they cannot learn any further. This is a problem. The environment is not set for us to succeed, all right? It's not to be a philosopher, a scientist, a mathematician. Most of the time, the Black child is getting more deterred to be an entertainer or athlete, which is the same thing for me. They're all entertainers, but every Black child, oh my gosh, I mean, it does not fail, especially with the guys, but with the girls as well. They get pushed instantly when they see a skill or talent in the sport. They get pushed to do that, not pushed to develop the mind. We have to think about that, and we have to start setting that atmosphere. Okay, our children are not learning this, but we have to build it. It is up to us to build it, because this is how you advance a people, a society, whether locally and globally. I want you to watch this film by Dr. Amos Wilson. If you don't know Dr. Amos Wilson, oh my gosh, he was a brilliant mind. He did so many speeches. He has books out. He studied education, especially with the African American child, with the Black child. I want you to hear
that we are dominated by Europeans. And that means that that domination represents itself in the educational system, both in what we call explicit ways and implicit ways. When you talk about a curriculum, and I am talking about this today, you must look at what we call the explicit intentionality of curriculum, and then what we call the implicit or hidden intentionality of the curriculum. And you cannot just look at it in terms of the skills that it teaches, or in terms of the coursework, because you can be deceived by those things. You know, well, they're teaching them math and science, that's no problem with that. You know, English, that's okay, this and that. That's the explicit one. But what is the real intention of that curriculum, you see? What is it behind it? What are they being taught math for, you see? To work for themselves, to work for others, to become mercenaries for other people against the interests of their own people? That often is hidden under the explicit curriculum. And it is that hidden one that you have to study very closely. When then we look at the Eurocentric curriculum and the curriculum and the curricula developed under Europeans, we have to recognize then that in the European dominated world, the education of Black people is an education for servitude. Oh yes, the European has no intention ever of letting you get out of a position of servility.
Wow, family. So you hear right from one of our leaders, our now ancestors, own words, who have studied education, special education. He was a thinker, a philosopher, had some studies in history as well, taught very heavily. We heard out of his mouth, and this was years ago. He said this, and more of our leaders have been saying it in so many different ways. But he said the Black child is set, the environment, the curriculum they're learning, everything about it is set for them to be have a life of servitude, and not for servitude for themselves, for the advancement of themselves, but for others. And so this is very important that you support Black education, because our children deserve an environment that is set up for them to succeed, not just in getting grades, but knowing the knowledge, knowing the material, know how to connect it to life, adulthood, know how to connect it to self-determination, self-preservation, enhancement and advancement for their community locally and globally. All right. So Dr. Amos, he also mentions looking at the curriculum and their environment explicitly and implicitly. What is the hidden agenda? The hidden agenda is for us, again, when I told you, to obey and comply. Not to invent, not to create. At best, we get entrepreneurs. At best, at best. And many of us, and because my husband and I are entrepreneurs ourselves, many of us come to that in our own terms as a necessity for us to advance in some way in the way we live now. So please, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Chancellor Woodson Schools. I've been running information below on the screen. If you would like to support our school, we have the description link. In the description, you'll see our Amazon wish list. If you haven't already, All right, to support our school, what my husband and I are doing, again, Chancellor Woodson Schools is a ministry objective of Together We Can. We started right from our own home. We were homeschooling our own children, and this was the first year we opened 2020 to 2021 school year. We opened it up to the public and said, hey, we want to do what we can. So we started right from our home. We have a local home campus, and we also offer at-home virtual learning, full-time learning for students as well, nationwide and globally, anywhere you can be part of our school. So if you want to support that and that work, Black education, we are one of the schools, we're doing it right here in Alabama. So go to the description link, click on our Amazon wish list if you want to donate supplies. We greatly appreciate it. We definitely want to expand. We want to hire more staff. We want to so many things we want to do, take cultural mission trips, academic recreational mission trips. We want to take the kids next year to Africatown and different museums that we have here in Alabama. So we definitely appreciate any financial amount. You can donate right via Cash App, CWSchools, or PayPal, paypal.me/Chancellor Woodson. That will be in the description as well. There's many of us that are starting to do the work or have been doing the work. So if you're in your area and you know someone in your location that you can support locally as well, go do that, because it is a necessity. All right, we need as much support as we can get, and we support everyone who's doing the work. Okay, don't forget to come back for episode 3 as we get into reason 3 in that episode. And I'm doing 3 with both of us, but reason 3 in that episode, why you should support Black education. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I want you to stay encouraged, stay blessed in all that you do. Always remember to keep rising.